So Frazer Ellinor is a PhD candidate at the University of Kent, and his presentation title for today is Common Myths of Autism Held by Student Teachers and How to Effectively Debunk Them Using Technology. Frazer is an autism specialist teacher who has taught in the field of special education needs, which is SEN, for over a decade. This has included classroom teaching at an SEN school, conducting pupil assessments and referrals for diagnosis, delivering CPD training to different schools, as well as delivering knowledge and skills sessions to trainee teachers at a local university. In 2018, he completed his ME degree in Inclusion and Special Educational Needs. And this presentation is also based on his research dissertation. And he is currently a PhD student on the Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities program at the University of Kent, where he is researching gender stereotypes of autism and how these impact on diagnosis and provision within educational settings. Thank you very much for being here today, Frazer. Looking forward to your presentation.
Thank you. Okay, so thank you very much to Ido and to you, Danny, for having me today. So as you explained, my presentation is based on my dissertation research for my master's degree, looking into myths of autism amongst student teachers and how to debunk them effectively using bespoke technology. Okay. Okay, so in terms of myths of autism, they're often inaccurate descriptions that are perpetuated by a combination of factors, specifically the mass media through films such as Rain Man or books such as The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. And these are usually very stereotypical portrayals of the extreme of autism symptoms. And the difficulty with these myths is that people do believe them, and that can then limit the ways that we look at people with autism. As Alderson says on this slide, they influence research, policy, and the treatment of autistic people. My own theory behind this as well is that because autism is so diverse as a condition, the diversity itself can make it difficult for people to understand it. And it's that multifaceted approach that makes it rather confusing to others. Damien Milton, who created or constructed the double empathy problem, came up with a theory that not only is it difficult for autistic people to have empathy and relate to neurotypical people, but in the same instance, neurotypical people also have difficulties empathizing and relating back to autistic people and understanding their needs. Okay. As part of my research, I used surveys which used a Likert scale, so a rating scale, and all respondents had to rate their beliefs on given statements. These statements were divided and halved, so half of the statements were facts and half of the statements were common myths that were identified through academic research and literature. Convenient sampling was used. This was an advised sample because with student teachers it can be very difficult to get them to participate. So convenient sampling was used where the participants self-selected. This took the form of an email that was sent round to all student teachers on specific programs at the local university, inviting them to elect to participate. Out of the potential 240 candidates, 32 of them volunteered to participate within this research. As part of the design methodology, the Blalock formula was used, which looked at how many students would need to be to take part in order to be representative of a target population. And the Blalock formula suggested that a sample of 26 participants would be needed to ensure 99% accuracy. Other academic sources suggest a minimum of at least 30 within the social sciences to be representative. Obviously, as previously discussed, there were 32 within this study. Yeah. So at the start of the study, before participants used the website on autism knowledge, they participated in the study, and it was found that there was a high prevalence rate of common myths held by these student teachers. The strongest belief, the strongest held myth by student teachers within this study was that all children with ASD, autism, are geniuses, and that met with a mean score of 4.51, so it's pretty high out of 5. In contrast, the myth which was ascribed to the least was that children with ASD are a product of bad parenting. This was actually quite surprising, as a long-term belief of autism at one stage, even amongst clinicians and psychiatrists, was that it was caused by a refrigerator mother effect. It was that lack of nurturing, that lack of bond between the mother and the child, which led to autism. So it's quite surprising that a myth that was once one of the most commonly prevalent actually was one of the least within this study. After that, the student teachers were given links to a website to use, which addressed the myths specifically that were used within this study, and they then had to retake the survey again and rate their beliefs using the same Likert scale. The most significant improvement within the study was with the myth that all children with ASD lack empathy towards others. So it actually had an overall reduction of 3.15, which was quite significant actually, as you can see by the graph itself. And the data analysis showed that an improvement in the responses for all myths explored. There was, an improvement in all of the responses for the myths explored, with all beliefs then being within 0.6 of the ideal score that was prescribed at the start of this study. What this showed was that the impact of using the bespoke technology, in this case the website, resulted in an approximate 85% reduction in the mean variation of myths, so a significantly improved knowledge base for these student teachers. In order to look at these results and work out their statistical significance, it was decided to use Gossett's student's t-test, which was devised in 1908. It was decided that it would be the most applicable due to its use with small sample sizes, in this case 32 participants. The t-test measures the reliability through demonstrating similar means and standard deviations. So it also has the strength of allowing our researchers to make inferences about a wider population, and therefore having a statistical significance. The t-test revealed the data had a statistical significance of 99.4%, with a probability value of 0.006. So that meant that it was highly significant and could be highly applicable to the general population of which was being studied, in this case student teachers. However, it may even be able to be applied to an even wider audience, so teachers in general. So the implications of this research was that myths of ASD, myths of autism, are still highly prevalent within student teacher populations, despite ongoing training within ITT sectors. The results suggest that technology, again in this case a bespoke website, can be effectively used to debunk such myths of ASD. On the screen at the moment are some screenshots of the parts of the website that were used with these students, these participants. However, the findings found that the myths are prevalent in the beliefs of student teachers means that ITT providers, so local universities who offer initial teacher training courses, should be running specific sessions on and training on aspects such as autism awareness and myths themselves. And this forms part of key recommendations for SEN conditions such as autism, which should be included within a core framework. And that was found within a key piece of literature, the Carter Review, which was conducted in 2015. Up to this point, it was judged that SEN settings and our initial teacher training providers were not doing enough to develop the knowledge of trainee teachers. Okay. There's some of the references that were contained within this PowerPoint, and my contact details at the bottom if anyone wants to know anything more or would like a copy of this presentation. Okay.